Welcome to Nomad Echoes, where every journey is more than a destination. It's a story waiting to be heard. Some places don't demand your attention, they earn it slowly, quietly over time. And today, we are not just visiting a city, we are stepping into a memory, a place where history doesn't sit in museums, it walks beside you. This is Hyderabad. There is something unusual about Hyderabad. It doesn't overwhelm you at the first glance. It doesn't rush to impress. Instead, it unfolds in layers, in textures, in moments that don't announce themselves. You walk through its streets, and gradually the city begins to speak. Not loudly, but with a quiet confidence, a rhythm that feels unhurried, where the past isn't erased. It's carried forward. You see it in the buildings, in the arches, in the spaces between modern life and old world charm. And somewhere between those contrasts, you begin to feel it. This isn't just a city, it's a timeline still alive. Before the grand monuments, before the famous landmarks, there are the in between moments. The everyday life of a place, narrow lanes filled with movement, shadows of minarets stretching across busy roads, voices, colors, textures, all blending into something uniquely Hyderabad. There is a softness here, a kind of lived in history where stories don't feel distant, they feel present. You don't need a guidebook to sense it, just a pause, just a moment of stillness to let the place reveal itself. Because sometimes the real essence of a city is not found in what you plan to see, but in what you almost miss. And then slowly, the deeper layers begins to appear, structures that have stood longer than generations, spaces that have witnessed time move again and again. There is something more powerful about standing in front of history and now reading about it, but being there, you begin to realize time doesn't just pass, it settles, it stays in stone, in silence, in space. And in Hyderabad, you can feel it. There is another side to Hyderabad, one that doesn't rush, one that doesn't speak loudly but stays quietly in the background. A side built not for power but for remembrance. Across the city, scattered between its roads and open spaces, stand structures that were never meant to impress the present but to honor the past. Tombs, monuments raised not in celebrations but in memory, built for kings, for queens, for lives that once shaped the direction of this land. And when you stand before them, there is a different kind of silence. Not empty but full, full of stories that are no longer spoken, yet somehow still felt. These aren't places of moment, they are places of pause. You slow down without realizing it. You look a little longer, you walk a little softer. Because here time doesn't feel like it's moving forward, it feels like it has settled, layer by layer, generation after generation, rising in stone, in symmetry, in time, in space. The architecture speaks in its own ways. Arches that rise with quiet dignity, domes that hold the sky above them, corridors that leads not to destinations but to reflections. And just when you begin to understand this quiet language of time, you arrive at a place where history doesn't just rest, it rises. And then you arrive at a place that defines that feeling. For me, it's a dream come true. Since I was a child, as I used to learn in my primary classes when my social studies teacher, teaching the history subject, used to tell us the stories about these places I always dreamed of visiting. And today, I have come here, it's the Golconda Fort. Not just a monument, but a world in itself. Rising from the landscape, layered with stories, built with purpose, and preserved by time. What stands here today is not just stone and structure, it's memory, engineered into existence. Built in the 16th century, Golconda was once one of the most powerful fortresses in India, a center of trade, of strategy, of wealth. This was the land of diamonds. Some of the most famous diamonds in history, including the legendary Kohinoor, have passed through these very grounds, and beyond its wealth, what makes Golconda unforgettable is its brilliance. Clap your hands at the entrance, and the sound travels all the way to the top. A design so precise, so intentional that even today it feels like a magic of physics. This wasn't just architecture, it was intelligence, it was vision, it was a deep understanding of space, sound, and survival. As you walk through its pathways, climb its steps, pause at its edges, you don't just see a fort, you experience a time when every wall had a purpose, every design had meaning, and for a moment you stop being visitor and become a witness. Every journey leaves something behind, not always in the place you visit, but within you. Hyderabad is one of those places. It doesn't demand to be remembered, it simply stays in fragments, in impressions, in quiet echoes of time. But to truly understand why Hyderabad stays with you, you have to look beyond what is seen and into the legacy what that shaped it. Hyderabad is not just a city of monuments. It's a city built on vision, power, and continuity. At the heart of that legacy were the Nizams, the rulers of the Hyderabad, who once governed one of the largest and the wealthiest princely states in India. Their influence wasn't just political, it was cultural, architectural, and deeply human. Under the Nizams, Hyderabad became a center of refinement, a place where art, language, cuisine, and design were not just practiced but perfected. Their era left behind more than structures. It left behind an identity, a way of life that still lingers in the streets, in the food, in the very rhythm of the city. But even before the Nizams, there was Golconda, originally built by Kakatiya dynasty and later expanded by Qutb Shahi rulers. Golconda was not just a fort, it was a statement, a declaration of strength, of intelligence, of foresight. The engineering of Golconda even today commands respect. From its advanced water system to its remarkable acoustic design, it reveals a level of thinking far ahead of its time. Layers of defense, carefully planned with entrances, hidden pathways. This was strategy carved into stone. But history is now still. Under the Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb, Golconda faced a long and determined siege. For months it resisted, but in the end it fell not just to force, but to betrayal. A gate opened from within, and the unconquered was taken. Yet its significance remained untouched. Later, under the Nizams, Hyderabad entered a new era. During the British rule, it stood as a princely state, allied but not directly ruled. A delicate balance of power maintained with intelligence and diplomacy. Even at the time of India's independence, Hyderabad's story took its own path. It was among the last to integrate into the Indian Union, marking yet another turning point in its long history. And all through of this, what remains is not just history but continuity. And perhaps that is why, when you walk through Hyderabad, you don't just see what is in front of you, you feel what has come before. This is Nomad Echoes, where every place has a voice and every journey becomes a story. If this journey resonated with you, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe because there is always another story.